Alright. What's going on, guys? Hi, internets. So, for those of you that don't know, I am Jesse, um, one of the DMs for Let's Roll Adventure Guild and the DM for the live table roll that we haven't been able to do because of the goddamn corona. And I also am uh, mostly the hands that you see when we do the DM crafts. So we actually started this channel because we wanted to talk about just D&D talk. And today we are going to be talking about how we go about character creation. Um,
Oh my god,
what?
I love the layout.
Nice, yeah,
I just had to. I had to look at it because I was tired of looking at the Discord screen, so I was like, I'm going to the Twitch and see how this is. That's awesome.
yeah. I threw it together real quick, so hopefully it works out. If anybody's watching live, they can chat, and then right over here, it'll pop up. And for those of you guys that aren't watching the Twitch, I can read them um, as they come up. But so joining me today, uh, right over here, is the other DM to the Adventurers Guild, Chace. Say hi, Chace.
Hello, I am the other voice you might hear from time to time on the live games when we stream. Uh, I haven't been able to play as often as I might like, but we'll get that fixed here soon with all this Rona
Yeah,
crap.
yeah. It's just been ridiculous. I said the other day, like, I just can't wait to hear like dice hit the table.
Oh,
It's just gonna be
you're
great
telling me.
when that happens. Then,
I was saying like earlier as we were getting ready for this conversation. There's so many things I miss. We'll get into it later, but there's so many things I miss about live table
oh
I
yeah,
got
stuff.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like we'll talk about that here in a minute. But uh, right down below me here is Devon. He played um, Zane Littlefoot, who passed away last session. He also plays on the live table. He plays Hug Mug until I kill that character.
and then I'll find another character to piss off the DM. Woo!
And then over here in the corner, there we go, is Torrent Josh. He plays on the Adventurers Guild right now. Um, I don't know if he's here. Josh, you here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hello.
So yeah, we're just hanging out, shooting the shit, and like I said, tonight we'll be talking about how we personally go about character creation, and what I think we'll do, and if you guys don't disagree, I have the handy dandy player's handbook right here, and the player's handbook has a way of how they suggest that you do a character build, which some parts I agree, some parts, some parts, some parts don't make sense at all. That why you would do them in this, not not that. Let me correct myself. Not that they don't make sense, but the order that they say in the book doesn't make sense to me. Does that make
It just
sense?
confuses new players.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, so let's crack open the book first and foremost. And chapter one is the step-by-step character. So we're gonna go based off of character creation, which starts on page 9 of your 5th edition handbook. And if you open to page 11, So the first thing it says to do is to choose a race. I completely disagree with this for so many different reasons.
Same.
So have any of you actually followed the guidelines to create a character?
The first character I ever made, yes. And it was hard.
Oh, I lost you, Chase. You're muted. Oh.
Sorry about that. I said probably like in 3.5 whenever I started. I'm sure I followed whatever the step-by-step guide was at the time.
You know,
But I can be honest, it's been a long time since I followed.
Well, the funny thing is, I was thinking about that just a little bit ago, and I'm pretty sure that 3.5 was not like this because I learned how to make characters in 3.5, and this is not it.
Sure.
So, just real quick, I'm going to go over the steps and then we'll go through like what we personally do. So, I'll go over the steps that it says to do. So, the first one that it says is choose your race. The second step is to choose your class.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. The third thing, let's see, is to determine your ability scores. So I'm gonna say that's to roll your ability scores or do your
The standard array is
yeah
what they primarily talk about.
yeah. So that would be number 3 as far as Dungeons and Dragons are concerned. Um, fourth fourth is describe your character. Fifth would be choosing your equipment. And then it says that level 6, or yeah, level 6. Part 6 is basically um, putting everything together. I completely disagree with everything that is in this handbook.
Yeah.
so let's talk about what they say is first and what we would do first with the same steps. It's all the same steps.
Oh yeah,
It's
for
all the
sure.
same steps, just a different order. For me personally.
And unfortunately, like D&D Beyond, like the go-to for like anyone playing D&D now, because paper books are obsolete and bad for the environment and everything, whatever, um, is the same way as the book. So it makes it even worse because you can't like look at anything until you pick your race.
So let me tell you this. This is just a short story. So when we decided to start playing D&D, this is the beginning of Let's Roll, probably like a year or two ago. I think we've been on 2 years now, which is pretty cool.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so the first one that I set up, yeah, right. So hold on, let me pull up the chat here. Um, so
Hey,
that
Kayla.
so that we can see this.
Pretty sure everybody has anybody who plays D&D has a hard copy.
Yeah, I mean you should, right? To
Oh yeah.
to not have a hard copy to me
Well,
is kind of ridiculous. I mean,
well, you got to remember too, to support the hobby, you have to buy those hardcover books.
Yeah.
Like, that's especially for those of you who happen to go out and get third party published stuff. Like that's how they make their money. They're not making money off downloads. 10-cent downloads off the DMs Guild. they're they're trying. The books that still has value. Plus, I mean, there's something about the tactile having the book.
I think
Rolling the dice.
yeah, and I think that's I hate to say this because I know I'm gonna get slack for this, but number one, this is a collection for me, right?
Right.
So like for Christmas, I think I completed uh my
Oh, that's terrible.
5e books because that's what they got me for Christmas, which was awesome. I loved every one of
What?
them. And
It's
I
incredible.
did.
yeah, and I'll buy every one that comes out, even the ones that I really don't care for. But
Mm.
that being said, I think there's a certain level of nerd that you have to be to get to collect the books. There's a certain level of nerd that you have to be
Sure.
to collect the books. Online is great. It's great if I'm pulling resources. If we're playing online, um, if we're playing online, it's one thing, but um, yeah, there's a certain level of satisfaction by grabbing the book and doing shit by the book. That being said, like I said, when we started playing, most of the players that we had, now this is going back to like me. Um, Everything you say has some aspect of sarcasm.
Truth.
It's yeah. Nobody knows how to take Josh except for me because he grew up with me. So like, I get
Hey! I've handled myself so far.
yeah. So far, you still like when Josh talks, I'm like, yeah, that's Josh. But like everybody else is like, is he being a dick? Well, yeah, but not how you think. Um, but when we first started playing, these guys were new, except for like me and Izzy, right? So we had Tim, who was on the first couple episodes. Brandon was brand new. Garrett was brand new. It was me and Izzy that, but we sat down and we had a couple of other players too. I think Kevin played the first time. This is when we were up in my dining room with a TV like flipped on its side with some wobbly legs that I built. Like it was it was ridiculous. Oh yeah, trust me. Yeah, Josh can definitely be a vicious dick. Um,
That's the best kind.
um, but so they didn't know how to play. Now everybody was pulling out their phones, going, "Yeah, I can use D&D Beyond," and I was like, "No, like you, if we're sitting down to create characters, you are not using D&D Beyond because I think that takes away from the character creation.
And
I
the
agree.
creativity.
Yeah, the creativity goes away. You don't have to think; you just have to push buttons. And
I
I
think
don't.
too. I think a lot of this is D&D kind of became popular again during a time when like board games, like niche board games, were like a big hit. You know,
Yeah,
and I feel like there's a certain amount of like they kind of meshed, and you feel it a lot, especially with the way you notice a lot of newer people learn how to play 5e, where it's played more like let's complete A and B. It's like a let's beat this game mentality rather than this is a story. You know,
yeah,
um, and I'm sure we're gonna get into min maxing. That's a
yeah.
that's a big part of that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, when I sit down to play D&D, I'm not even an old school D&D player. Like I am to a certain extent. Like I started playing in middle school. But like back then, you know, we literally played to role play.
Right,
To role play. Like and we had that discussion last night where right now we're missing the way that we have our sessions set up. It doesn't give us the opportunity to role play.
right.
But that last session that you DM'd where, you know, uh the speech and this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. That was probably my favorite session, and we didn't even have combat.
And that's the thing is like sometimes I feel like that's important. Sometimes you got to pump the brakes because we got into a habit where it was like because we were swapping back and forth, it became a tower defense game more than a role playing game.
Yeah.
We're just we're playing League of Legends around a virtual table. That's what we're doing, and I mean, and you can see that reflected a lot in the narrative of the way that the game went. Like where items were given out fairly freely, and it was just because it was meant to be a goofy game.
Yeah.
But the issue with that was that the setting we had did not reflect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we find out like Josh. Josh had deeper desires to see his character grow.
Yep.
And in a setting that we had, we were never going to touch anybody's backstory.
Yeah.
There was, what I mean? There was no way that was ever going to happen.
And if you do, it's just snid bits, right? It's just like pieces. Right. It's just small pieces that we grab. And
absolutely.
Where
I feel each player deserves an arc.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that. Like I'm fine with that. Like I think that's a blast of an idea. But we weren't heading in that direction, Not that that has to do with making new characters.
Yeah, no. We're getting off on a tangent. Which we're gonna do completely, like all night. This is just it's gonna be like one tangent after another until we figure this out. So let's jump.
45-minute talk about how you could actually make a character would turn into 5 hours.
Yeah, this is how it's gonna be. It's just
So just to bring this back real quick, I will give one good thing to D&D Beyond, and that is for new players that are very Greenfoot. It is step by step. It will explain exactly what character is good. What's good about each character. What positive things it has. So it's very step by step, which is great. But then you have to go back and put it into a classic, paper copy. You just have to.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. D&D or D&D Beyond, they do a great job. They're really good at pulling those green players in, right? Because we can make it easy now. But what that does too with the more veteran players, they're just like, that's kind of cool. Don't get me wrong. It's great that I can pull up the monster manual on my phone. It's cool that I can share all my books with everybody in my campaign if I was the one to pay for them. We'll get into it. We'll have a whole discussion on D&D Beyond. We'll put that in that's in the bank right there. So so that's going to be, maybe that's our next week conversation, is D&D Beyond versus hardcovers. I think that sounds pretty good. But
yeah, that sounds good.
So going back to the initial conversation. So okay, number 1, choosing your race. The handbook says to choose your race first. I'm gonna go last on all of these topics, but I'm gonna hand it off to Chace and just tell me positives and negatives. B, what you do for your first step.
Sure. I mean, race for your first choice, it's not horrible. I mean, I guess if you're new and you're kind of poking around the handbook, that might be something, the first kind of thing that kind of draws you to it. Like, oh, I can be something other than a human being. I guess there's something to that. And I know there's been times where I've been like, when I've heard of new races coming out, I've been like, oh, Minotaur, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's, but even that, I mean, I think race, if you're newer, I guess it's a good place to start. As a veteran player, I don't know why you would start there. I don't know, because especially as a basis for a character concept, it just seems odd to me. Um, and right there, I guess that's gonna go ahead and give away my number one. Um, to describe your character is probably my number one. Um, you know, I think I even really give thought to what my character is till after I know what my character wants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and that, that being said, like, I think everyone's influenced by a lot of different things, especially given to whatever kind of media you're exposed to at the time. Um, I think you find a lot of people kind of lean towards whatever they're into at the moment,
Yeah.
especially in fiction or whatever, science fiction, whatever it may be. Um,
Yeah,
but
to your point, if you're only if you're new and the only thing you know is Driz, you want to
right,
play a dark elf. You don't care what it
right,
is. I want to be
right,
a dark elf. Um, yeah,
right,
I
and
get that.
and I'll be honest. I mean, um, yeah, like usually my idea is like what kind of character do I want to play? Because I've always my emphasis, and I guess it just might be that I've always been lucky in that a lot of the groups that I've always been a part of have been very role play heavy. So stats, I don't think we ever gave a crap about stats. I mean, you've seen some of the players I've played with where they've actually intentionally asked to roll lower
Mhm.
because it's more fun. It's
Yeah.
it's I'd rather have like don't get me wrong, Bruce Lee movies are awesome. Okay, but
Okay.
it's fun to watch Jackie Chan whack himself in the head with a ladder when he's trying to defend himself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's he's a more lovable character. You know what I mean? It's like and that's what I go for. Like I look for a character that's going to be memorable, not just for me as I progress and play through a campaign, but like I want to make a character that others around me would want to have in their party. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
someone that they could get attached to, or if that's not what I'm going for, someone that they could hate.
Yeah.
Which is it just depends on what we're going for.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right. All right. So let's go down to Devon. Devon, what would your first choice be? What do you do first before you even
Like it depends. Like it depends on my group. So I always go group first, no matter what. If I have a group that wants to be serious, then it changes how everything goes. So either for my first choice, it would always have to be group
Yeah,
because
I
if I
think
have a group or a group that's just trying to have fun and learn the game or just wants to have fun, it
you know
first
I
choice would always be group.
I think that's something that this doesn't that the handbook doesn't talk about, right? So yeah, Devin, I like your point there because there's been 150 different games where I'm like, you know what, you guys choose what you want first, because
My
if nobody
characters,
chooses a cleric, I'll be the cleric. You know what I mean? So like choosing the party, I yeah, I think
all my like every character I build, some of them I make serious, but 90% of the time I rather go for the the comic relief or the one that does stupid decisions all the time because everybody else at the table 90% of the time is going to pick those
so
heavy roles that are always serious and everything like that. That's like you said, you always go cleric first because healers are one of the least picked classes. So I don't care. Like I would definitely say, like, instead of choosing my race first, it would definitely be depending on my group.
all right. So you're saying put uh so that is actually covered in the very last one. That is, where it says come together. It says uh by the book, page 15, most D&D characters won't work alone. Each character plays a role in the party. So I think that's kind of what it's kind of turned into, or the preface of, in that chapter is part 6 is putting everybody together. But yeah, I kind of agree with that. and I can see where that has merit. And that's the thing too, right? So that's the thing too. If I'm playing, you know, if I'm playing with like Chace, uh, Garrett, um, or not Garrett, Chace, Brandon, some of the guys that I've been playing with for a while, um, and I know how they play, I don't give a shit what they make. I really don't, because I'm just gonna make my character. But
Right.
if I'm playing with new characters, like if I'm playing with new players or people that I don't know, goddamn right I'm gonna be a druid because I can be anything as a druid. So it depends on what spells I pick.
Yeah, and with the group, if at least in my aspect, if I know my group, or like, for instance, perfect example, when I joined in with you and the guys and started playing D&D with yous when we started streaming, like, everybody already had characters, and I was the new guy at the table and I jumped in. I started off with slugs. I mean, not slugs, droop,
Yeah.
and I just took droop and ran with them. But as soon as we made new characters, I made a character that I thought would help the group more, only because everybody else was trying to do as much damage as they could. But that was with the because, well, all of them were new. Yeah, they were all new except for you, and I had a little bit of experience.
Well,
So,
Izzy has
oh yeah, Izzy, I forgot about
Izzy
Izzy.
has like 800 times more experience than I think any of us. I think he falls
Yeah,
asleep with these books on a nightly basis.
he sleeps with them.
Yeah, I mean,
That's his lover, his protector.
I remember when we first got into it, like I had taken a very 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 long break from Dungeons and Dragons. I think the last edition I played was 3.5, and this was when I was in Iraq actually. So we were playing Dungeons and Dragons in a chew in the desert. Um, I was playing
Just
3.5. Yeah,
so badass.
yeah. Yeah, like, go out with your fucking your M16 patrolling on the wire, getting mortars shot at you. What are you doing after work? I'm rolling some dice.
Fucking
Yeah.
rad.
But yeah, I know Izzy brought over like a good part of my collection is extra books that Izzy had. And he was like, "Here, these are yours now." And I'm like, "Cool. Yeah, I'll take them."
Awesome.
And with the group thing, like, this is probably the last thing I have to say about it. Like, with the group thing, if you don't know the group, or the group's not together first, and you just make your character and then you join a group, everybody could have the same character. And
Yeah.
yeah, if yeah, it could end up being good or it could be bad, but at the same time, there's not going to be a whole lot of different things that will happen. And I know most DMs go off the storyline and changes storylines depending on character.
Well, I think that's where 5th edition does a really good job. Because let's say you're starting out, right? And you're starting out at 0, right? Session 0. All your characters aren't even first level yet, right? So you pick all fighters. Every single one of you is a fighter. Cool. When you get your subclass, that's where you can change things up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So a fighter's just not, it's not like back in the day where a fighter's just a fighter, a
Exactly.
ranger's just a ranger, a cleric's just a cleric. You can really get into it and, all of a sudden your fighter is an Eldritch Knight blasting spells from halfway across. Um, so 5e, I mean, even if you walk into a group, Josh, we were talking about the doing a one-off where it's just a bunch of
Oh,
monks.
I still want to be there.
Doing a one-off where it's just a bunch of monks. If you look into the monk, yeah, there's 150 different directions you can go in.
Oh,
You know, it's all different. So I think that's one thing that 5e really did well. They took all the classes and they made it so that you can kind of do whatever you want with them, and I thought
Plus,
that was cool.
let's not forget. I mean, I understand. Like, if we're talking about like first time players, like yeah, that could be bad. But if you're with a bunch of seasoned players, like you said, and you allow third party stuff, it can get really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like some of these third party printers have come up with not only amazingly balanced stuff, but amazingly inventive things.
Yeah.
And I mean you can play games that are almost unrecognizable to Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can really get into some interesting stuff.
Mhm. So let's hop down to Josh. He's been quiet there for a minute. Josh, what's your first? How do you feel about what the handbook says, and what do you think your first step is?
Well, the first thing I always do is I figure out what am I looking for? Am I looking for I want to try, you know, I want to play a tiefling. Let's see what's good for a tiefling. Or am I like, oh, I really want to make a druid. Let's find what makes a good druid. Or, but usually it's okay, this is the type of character I want. I agree with Chace. It's the type of character that I want. Like, here's some storylines that I would like. Like, I mean, look at Torrent. Torrent is just a freaking nutcase.
Yeah.
Like, he is probably one of the, most evil good characters. Like, he will draw on your forehead just because he wants to. Or he will randomly give someone a number and it not being his. But yeah, that's just the type of character. And then I'm like, all right, now that I have this flushed out, what race and what class will work? But I also think class definitely before race, even if it's just standard.
Slow down there, champ. We're getting there.
I'm just saying.
Don't run through the list yet. One at a time.
No,
all right?
No, because that is my number one.
So description. So you're compiling your character before you even think about anything else.
Yes.
And that's the thing of that. So Josh, I'm gonna jump on to my choice because it really dives into what you're saying there. I'm the same way, and I think it's different because maybe it's different because I'm a DM. It's literally like, what can I get away with? What do I feel that I want to play, and what can I get away with? So like the game we play Chace on Sundays at Brandon's. I wanted to do a monk. I wanted to do something a little bit weird, and that's what I did. I come up with the description of how I want my character to be first. I want my character because I want to be. Yeah, I want to go in and smash shit. I want to kill monsters. That's part of the game. But also, I think about it from a role play stamp. Like, how is my character gonna be? And looking at it, 90% of the time, my character is just an asshole. In one way or another, he's just an asshole. I'm like, charisma, don't even fucking care. You know what I mean? Like, but I think if I chose, but I think if I chose a bard, right, and like my charisma was through the roof, it would be intimidation all day. It would just like I don't even know. Like, he's still gonna be a dick.
And accept.
Yeah. He's just gonna lie. He's gonna lie to everybody. It doesn't even matter.
Awesome.
You know, it's gonna be like his origin story would be like the Joker's. You know what I mean? You would never be able to know because you don't know which one is right. Because
but even then, at least you're starting with a concept.
Yeah, I'm still
starting with that concept.
Then, yeah,
like it's.
Yeah, and I would have it like if I I'll tell you what. My very next character will be a bard. Just for that.
Right on.
Just for that.
Right on.
I have never played a bard, and Chace, you know how I feel about bards. I hate bards, but I will play one. I will play one just to play it. Just to play it. And I will have and he will be very similar to that. He'll have 6 very open creation stories that he will just run with all the time, and it'll always change. Everybody he talks to. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, look how much fun deception is.
Oh
Like
yeah.
when you draw a centaur penis on one of the DM characters' foreheads and then deceive him to be like, not sure who did it, must have been a kid.
Yeah, right. I can't imagine.
So so we went over the first one. They're saying choose race, but we, for the most part, I think we went with choosing the description, putting everything together. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Devon. In some cases, um, but I think the for me personally, not that I'm disagreeing at all, because I think that's a good way of doing it. But for me, I think the way that 5e is set up, I can pretty much run with whatever I want to and still be able to fill whatever role it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, because, if I want to play a druid, I can be a front fighter, I can be a healer, I can be a caster. And that I'll develop after session 0. That I'll develop right as I'm about to, that way too, you get an opportunity to feel out the group, right? If you got
right.
one guy
Absolutely.
that's just a fighter and like he's a barbarian, but he's not a great upfront fighter for whatever reason, then you can, okay, circle of the moon. I'm a druid now. I'm just gonna go fuck shit up. But
Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
yeah,
like
Like a druid.
Torrent versus Azamak, like two druids, but two completely different playstyles.
completely different styles. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, um, so then that's gonna it's gonna take care of that. Now they're saying, so now we have a description, right? We have a description. We know kind of what we want to play. Um, what do we do next? Right? We have a concept. We have a character concept. Uh, I think here's the thing, though. I think in that description, I've already chosen at least my class,
For sure.
right? So I would think class is I mean, I'm gonna go over to Chace here, but that's what would be your
For
second
sure.
choice.
Yeah, class is going to end up being incorporated, but plus I think a lot of players, I'm guilty of this as well, have like a kind of a predilection towards a certain type of character.
Oh yeah.
Like I love melee characters. I love it. I love being up in the junk. I love being up in the fight. I love that. Like I don't like being ranged. Like your game is the first game I played Bard,
Oh,
um,
nice.
and I was
The only bard I
new for
liked.
me.
The only bard I liked so far.
Well, I appreciate that.
Uh,
But yeah, well, it's my first one, so probably why. Um, but yeah, that's I feel like definitely like, but that because a lot of times when I come up with the concept, you're probably building your backstory already. You're probably building like you're just like it's just like you're writing a story. You're building that character, and that character obviously at some point you're going to decide what kind of character is that person.
yeah.
Do they fight at range? Do they use magic? Or, are they magically adept? Or are they a soldier? Do they are they a scrapper? Like what type of character are they? And that's gonna kind of become more developed and fleshed out as you work on your concept, I believe. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm pretty much parallel with you. Concept and class kind of falls hand in hand with a 1-2.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna hop down to Devon. Same question. I'm gonna hit the head real quick. But Devon, give us yours. I'll be listening.
Okay, so I normally go with class second because I like the fact that once I know my group, I'll pick a class that will benefit my play style and not worry about anything else. So if I'm sitting there and I know my group, I sit there and I come up with a class. I figure out what class I want to play. Do I want to try something new? Do I want to try something I've played before but try and make it better? Or like I For some reason, I'm not very good with bards, but I love bards because they have so much advantages on things, and I misplay them
Sure.
a lot because they're really hard. But
Wait, I'm sorry, I missed that. What did you say about you and bards?
I love playing them. The
Oh
first
no,
part
I'm sorry. Before that.
that I'm not very good at them. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Just making sure.
I misplayed. Zane died, and I misplayed twice. There was 2 times that I misplayed, and I realized I misplayed the perfect opportunity to do something 2 times in that battle where he died. And after the fact, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then once the next person went, I was like, okay, well, next time I play a bard, if I decide to, I know what I messed up on. But definitely, class would definitely be the second choice, only because I want to know. I need to know my class before I come up with anything else for any final decisions of race or ability, where they're going to go, my story, or any equipment and spells. So definitely be class for me for a second.
All right. Josh, what are you thinking? Also, sorry, Josh, don't mean to cut you off real quick. If anybody's in the chat, feel free to chime in here. Like, this is
Yeah.
just us talking. So if you're in the chat and you disagree with Chace, um, let him know. If you disagree with me, you're
For
wrong.
sure.
But you can try. No, I'm just kidding.
It's funny because we've agreed both times so far.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're in the chat, feel free, chime in. Um, but Josh, go ahead. What are you looking at for number 2?
Um, Definitely class. I mean, just I completely agree that class goes hand in hand with your story.
Yeah.
And yes, I brought Kayla in. She's going to be one of my new students of D&D, so
Yeah.
I
So
wanted to have them come in.
Oh,
so
welcome to your journey.
yeah, Kayla said I know nothing. I was sent here to learn. Kayla, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to pop in. You don't have to be quiet at all.
For sure.
We're definitely we're not the oldest players, but we we know some stuffs.
I don't know what's the Sith version of a Padawan.
Oh God, I knew it.
Padawan.
No, it's not. It's an apprentice.
Mm.
I thought that was still part of the
Nope,
Jedi.
nope. Sith and Jedi are 2 different orders. Nope.
Yeah, so Kayla is definitely an apprentice because this is definitely gonna be a shit show of Sith and chaos.
Well, hopefully we'll learn you something, so you're not completely lost in the sauce.
But yeah, class is definitely a second in my book.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think class. I'll pick my class before anything else. Like I said, it's already in my storyline. You know, um, for the most part, if I knew that I grew up in the forest and I was at one with nature, obviously I'm not gonna be a thief.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I could be.
Well,
I could be.
yeah.
I
Still could be.
it still could
Robin
be.
Hood, baby.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
build like a Robin Hoodish character, and that's the other thing too.
Right.
In that description and in that class choice, right? Pick something. If you're a first time player, pick something that you relate to, right?
Yeah.
Pick Robin Hood. Uh,
Yeah. They're tropes for a reason.
yeah,
You know, they're fun to play. You're Robin Hood, you're Conan the Barbarians,
yeah,
you're whatever, you're King Arthur type knights, your Lancelots,
yeah,
things like that.
yeah. Pick
You know, you're
something.
you're Gandalfs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
get crazy with it too, right? Get crazy with it. Like one character that I want to play, and it's just because I really I would find it amazing to role play. I want to play a Sherlock Holmes character. I
Badass.
want to
Okay.
play a character that all the stats are dumped into intelligence and perception, everything, and then the rest of them it's just whatever. It's like, I'll sit
Yeah,
back in the
that,
back.
that would make an amazing like wizard
Yeah, yeah.
or something.
Either a
Eldritch
wizard,
Knight, maybe.
an eldritch knight, or an artificer. Don't sleep on the
Artificer for
artificer.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And not to get. I'm trying to hold my excitement back, but the Mythic Odyssey of Theros is coming out, and
Mm.
I am all about that stuff because I love playing god heavy campaigns, and once again, who knows what classes are coming out with that and races for that. I mean, I saw some of the races, but
Yeah,
pretty exciting stuff.
I haven't seen anything yet. I still have to get the Critical Role book uh, because yeah, I love Critical Role. Don't get me wrong. Matt Mercer is amazing.
Which one though?
The D&D, not
Oh,
the
okay,
not the uh,
sure,
the other, but the Wild Mount.
yeah.
um, yeah, Sherlock Holmes is awesome, Kayla. I love Sherlock Holmes. I just think, see, that's the other thing too. I haven't played with a whole lot of veteran people that I wasn't DMing. Um, so like my ability to role play has been kind of stifled
Sure.
a bit. Which brings me like I'm really excited about what we were talking about last night because I think that's going to give me more of an opportunity to role play versus
Yeah.
hack and slash and you know I turn into
Yeah.
a bear. Uh, but yeah, I'm going with class too. It doesn't even make sense to go anywhere before your class is chosen. So um, that's going to be our number two. So um, basically, we flip the script. The book's number four is our number one. Their number two is our number two. Um, so Chace, you have your background. You have a trope ready. You have a class that you want to roll with. What
Right.
is your next? What is your next?
So yeah, race definitely is going to come into play here, but also this is where me personally, it's going to depend on the group I'm with. If I have a the, a more seasoned DM, usually they're going to have a campaign setting. This is where I want to get involved with the campaign setting because if it's homebrew, I want to know stuff because I want to get involved with the homebrew material. Like whether if there's like an order of something, like yeah, let me get a piece of that action. Do you know what I mean? Let me get deep into the lore. Let me like that's gonna affect that. And of course, then also some DMs, whether it be homebrew or just like I said, the setting, there might be a race that's more appropriate
Yeah,
for the setting. And I like doing that. Like a lot of times, like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I want to be the drow from the under. I want to be local. Like I want to be the dude who is. I just had my fishing nets out this morning,
yeah,
and now I got to fight a dragon this afternoon because oh, what's this? My dad was who or whatever. Like that's my kind of story. Like I like the underdog.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I like the the what is it? The sorcerer's apprentice
yeah.
type of vibe, man. Like I'm big into that, and so yeah, like my next step is actually you know to
Put
get acquainted with this campaign setting so that I can then choose my race. So, but yeah, race is definitely going to be next, but there's definitely some factors that fall into place
well,
for how I make my character there.
yeah. So I mean, we'll put you as their number six would be your number three, right? Because that's where you're
Yeah,
getting more into the campaign. You're asking questions because
right.
you know uh, if you're in the Underdark and that's the whole campaign, a variant human might not be the best thing in the world to pick. Um, you know, there's way too much going on that I don't want to keep casting light. I really don't.
Yeah,
It's I don't want to use up 800 torches and think about where my torch is. It's just gonna piss me off. You know what I mean? I get that
Absolutely.
100%. Um, Devon, what are you thinking for your number three?
My number three would be story.
Okay. Well, I have you as your first one as your story.
Well, the first one was group.
Well, that's the same. It's going to be the same thing, right? So that putting it together, that story and that group is going to be all in one because
Oh,
that's
okay.
yeah. Sorry,
After right after the class, it would be race.
you would go
I
with
would pick
race.
my yeah after my for number three.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right? Going pretty streamlined there. Like once you have your class, you know it's kind of easier to pick a race. Um, Josh, what are you thinking for number three?
Uh, I actually agree with it. Most of the time. I'm saying I agree with Chace. I like knowing a bit about where it comes or like where everyone comes from, what the land is, like that. That way you can like kind of pick the races that count.
Yeah,
Like if you're in nothing but a city, maybe a tiefling isn't the best idea unless like there's a reason you're picking the tiefling. Like
yeah,
but I have a question. Sorry, before we get to you, Jess.
yeah.
What about where would you put like your subclasses? If you get it on the first level, do you always pick it before you go with anything else while you're doing your class, or do you go into the story and then do you go back and pick it? Like what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, how many classes do you get your subclass right at the beginning?
I mean like cleric, warlock. Um, I know
Yeah,
there's.
I
I think wizard does too, don't they?
no, I think like you choose. Well, maybe. Um, I think with that, um, if I know that they're if I know that I have to choose my subclass like right off the bat, um, I'm picking that. I'm picking that as my class, right? Because when you create a character, are you creating it based on where the story is being held or where you want your character to be from? A little bit of both, right? So that's what we're talking about right now as far as the storyline goes. Because, like I said, if you're going to be in the Underdark, uh, you got to think of a lot of things, right? If you're not a drow or you're not a creature that would come from the Underdark, why are you there? Where are you
Right.
from? Um, you
How
know,
did you get
how
there?
did you get there, right? Are you a slave and you just got picked up and now you're in the Underdark and you got away, you escaped. Um,
Right.
you know, that's kind of where that storyline kind of comes into place. Um, of kind of putting everything together. So your DM's going to tell you like, hey, this is kind of the story. And I think a session 0 is like one of the most important things that any campaign should have because it's not up to the DM to say this is what I'm running, right? Because when you're playing D&D, if you're playing D&D right, it's a collaborative story and everybody should have a say in what's happening. So if I'm running a campaign right now, right, and this is our session 0, and I'm like, so, uh, a lot of undead. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing a lot of undead. We're going to be in the forest. It's going to be a lot of nighttime stuff. It's going to be, some haunted castles. This is kind of where I'm going with it. Chace Chace might not feel comfortable with that because he doesn't like things that go bump in the night.
Spooky.
Yeah, he doesn't like spooky, so he's not going to feel comfortable when like every turn I'm throwing something that's going to freak him out. You know what I mean?
Damn, Jesse, that's scary.
See, that's why we don't
Scary.
bring up that creepy shit around Chace because he goes all exorcist on us. Dude, I really need that thing. We gotta.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, I mean storyline. The dark is scary. It's definitely scary. Uh um so yeah, I personally go ahead, Josh, sorry.
Oh, and I was gonna say for Kayla, even if like you have a base story, but you're like, all right, well, we are going to the Underdark. Okay, that sounds cool. All right, well, here's how we can get there if you don't know. Like you can be captured and turned into a slave. You can be a prisoner. A portal could just rip open. Like look at Barovia from the Curse of Strahd. At any time, the mist can just envelop, and just teleport you to Barovia. That's just, so it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter where, like, so the DM can help direct you if you want some help. So it's not something that you completely have to figure out 100%.
Right.
Which is going to bring me to my third choice because I'm not. So I have my description and I have my class, right? I'm still not. I'm still not too concerned. This is just the way that I play. I'm still not concerned with the storyline yet, right? What I'm
Right.
concerned about is my rolls at this point. I want to roll my numbers and I want to see what I get because that's going to dictate what I'm doing from there on out, right? Because that's really going to help me choose my character, my class. Because if I'm a thief and my dexterity, I roll my dex and it's low, I'm going to pick a character that I can bring my dexterity up. That's just me.
Are you not setting like? Are you like? Because like the way you said, like if you're a thief and you roll low in dexterity, aren't you setting your dexterity? Like, aren't you gonna put your highest roll in dex?
Right. So like let's say
Or
I
are you
just
saying
have
your highest roll is shit?
Yeah. So like if all my perfect example, right? Here's a perfect example. I want to make my Sherlock character, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a wizard or I'm an artificer. I'm going to dump my highest stat into intelligence, right? My big stat is going to intelligence, but I want my perception to be high as well. So now I can pick a character where my wisdom is also going to be added into that so that I can get that character that I want. I'm not min-maxing. I'm just
Trying to
making
back.
sure that I can build the character that I want based off of those roles.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
like, and that's the Sherlock Holmes is a perfect example because I'm not gonna choose my race yet either because I want to see what my numbers are because that's gonna base what I choose as weapon proficiencies. All those things are gonna go into my head after I roll because if I pick a drow, I'm good with elven weapons. If I'm already proficient with them, so I can do the crossbow. I can, or the hand crossbow, I think it is. But I'm picking, I'm making my rolls, my ability scores first before I can, further uh, choose my class because I've already figured out what my role my role in the group sort of is, right? When we did the description, I already figured that out. I already know what that is. So it doesn't matter to me at this point where the story's taking place. No matter what, I'm gonna be that character. I'm gonna be that character. And as far as the race and stuff is, like Josh was saying about tieflings, if you don't like tieflings, that's part of my character now. You know what I mean? That's the imperfections. If people don't like tieflings where we're located, now it's either I don't give a shit or I have to make the people trust me and like me. And that's all part of role playing.
Right.
I personally go with and when I do my ability scores, and we talked about this, I enjoy the low rolls. I want certain characteristics to be at its max for my role playing ability. So that being said, I'm not, if I'm a wizard or an artificer, then my intelligence matters. My perception doesn't. My wisdom doesn't matter. But I want that wisdom to be high because I want to be able to walk into a room, see shit that nobody else sees, be able to investigate it, and have the knowledge that I need as that
Well,
Sherlock Holmes character.
Right.
That's like Torrent. His charisma, like he's a charmer. He's a you know how he is. He likes to flirt. He likes to be all of this. His charisma is his lowest score. His charisma is crap. So what does he do? If he doesn't get his way, he charms you. Literally charms you.
Yeah, and that's, for me, that ability score is my third most important thing when I'm looking at a character. Just to see, because like I said, I've already rolled my dice. My class, or my race is gonna kind of buff that. You know what I mean? It's gonna help me. It's gonna help me adjust the character as I need it. But let's say I do roll good enough that both of my scores are awesome. At that point, then I'm looking at, okay, well, what do I want to role play? Because that's always in my mind. What do I want to role play? It's still that that description. And 90% of the time, I don't want to be a human because I'm human. It's
yeah,
not
humans
fun.
are bad people.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, I'll play a human if I need to, but I play a human every day. So
Well, kinda.
I play one on TV. So yeah, for me, ability score number 3. So so that means, Chace, we got for you your description, your class, and the storyline.
Right.
What's your next choice and why?
So my next choice is probably gonna be. I mean, I guess scores. I mean, scores is the least important thing, but like the only thing less important to me is my equipment, especially starting.
Yeah.
I really don't care about my starting equipment.
No.
Unless, like I said, unless we're playing a campaign that would matter. Like if we're like, if we're playing a more high-end campaign where my character would have been a hero, and we're trying to figure out what they might have done or found, or because sometimes you are playing a hero, and if that's the case, then it matters. But I'm not. That's again not super worried about it.
So
So
my question then is, are you choosing your ability scores before your race?
no.
Okay, because I have you down as description 1, class 2nd,
Right.
how it fits in the group 3rd, or the storyline 3rd. So you're going with race on your 4th?
Yeah. Race is my 4th at
Okay.
that point.
Okay. Sorry. I have it written down. So you're choosing. So after you know what the story is, you're going with your race.
Yeah, because like I said, it's usually going to depend on like where the setting is,
Right.
something like that. especially if it's a homebrew world. Like if there's some wild stuff, like if I normally would not play an elf. Just they don't interest me. I
Yeah.
just
It's humans for
but
20 years.
right, and they, I mean not that you have to play the stereotype, but like they tend to be snootier and all that kind of stuff, and but if you were to flip the script around and like play it more of like a Dragon Age type world where like elves are scum,
Yeah.
I might just play an elf
Yeah.
because that sounds kind of fun. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I look at my race choices. Um, like that. And then like you guys know, I actually tend to lean personally. I tend to lean towards human. Um, that's only human or dwarf, but
Yeah, we know.
yeah, but human. It for me, it's an immersion thing. I love feeling like I was dropped into a world that I don't belong in,
Yeah.
and like putting myself in there. But that being said, I'm also short and furry, so the dwarf thing works out too. It's pretty easy to.
Pre-
um,
Pretty easy to get into that trope. It's
yeah, for sure.
Cool. Next character he's making is a kobold.
Actually, it is. That's funny. But yeah, that's so. Yeah, race would be kind of like follow up last
all right.
for me.
All right, Ray. Devon, I got you as your story. Your story's first. Your class is second. Your race is third. What's your fourth?
My fourth one would be the description of my character.
Okay.
Because once I have my class and my race, I can come up with a story that would make sense for the race and the class. Because if I have the race and the class, then I can sit there and be like, okay, what makes sense with how I want to make my character? If because it won't be very common for a elf or we'll go out an elf. We'll go an elf and say, oh well, it was just living among the humans or among these guys for years. So I would rather come up with my race and my class, then have my storyline for my character, with the descriptions and everything it needs to come about with pursuing what I want to do with my character.
Yeah, and I think maybe that being said, I think maybe that's why they have it written how they have it in the book. You know what I mean? Like you're picking your race, you're picking your class, you have your ability score, so you now know what he's capable of. Now, what's your backstory? I get it. Me personally, I want to go into it knowing my backstory, and then I'm going to try to create it. Because let's be realistic, you're not even your full character, and correct me if anybody thinks I'm wrong here. You're not even your character until about level 3, level
Right.
4.
Oh yeah,
You know what I
Yep.
mean? You're
yeah.
feeling them
Sometimes
out. You're
depending
figuring
on
it
the
out.
class.
That's why I don't even pick alignment until like level 5. I don't even pick my alignment because I don't know how I'm playing. And when I start role
Absolutely.
playing and I get into my character, then I'm gonna know. He might be a
And even
dickhead. Go ahead.
no, right. I was gonna say, and even then, you don't know how you're gonna change your character based on the players you're gonna play with.
Yeah, and that's the thing too that really bothers me. And this is just a side subject. The whole concept of alignment, I I get sort of, but realistically, like no character's good. No character's good. No character's pure evil. Even pure evil characters think that they're doing something right. You know what I mean? You,
Yeah.
There.
Thanos.
yeah, Thanos,
Thanos.
perfect example. You look at Thanos and he's chaotic evil or true evil. But is he? He's trying to save the universe. In his mind, he's saving the universe.
Right.
Isn't that a
Yeah.
heroic thing to do?
There's a YouTube video from Pro Jared, where he goes through alignments. He would do this like D&D December thing, and he goes through like how alignments, and basically that alignments should just be a gray area, like because there is no 100% lawful good or true evil, and if there is, they tend to be just boring characters.
I think alignment is a good alignment should be fluid. Alignment should be fluid because this is even in real life, I might have the best of intentions. I might have the best of intentions. But after I'm kicked around for a little while, maybe I go a little loopy. Maybe I get a little chaotic.
The
Maybe I
road to hell is paved with good
good
intention.
intentions, right? You don't know until you start playing the game. You
Right.
start playing the game and people are pissing you off, and then all of a sudden you turn into a murder hobo. That shit happens. You know what I mean? Like, and that might not even
Okay,
last.
the
That
idea
explains it, Rob.
of a Wayne being an alcoholic was never a thought in my mind
Yeah,
at
exactly.
all.
Exactly.
Until the group he was around, that I said he would probably drink. And
Right.
it would probably become a problem.
Right. I mean, you don't know your character. And that's the thing
Right.
too. From level 5 to level 10, you don't know who your character is. You won't know. And if you're role playing right, he's going to change 6 times. So don't give me that alignment shit, cuz it's going to change. It's cool to put up there so that I know, like, I have kind of I can justify what I'm doing because I'm true neutral. Or
I've always looked at, personally, as a DM and a player, I've always looked at his alignment as a compass.
yeah.
It's not the direction your character is going to be going all the time. It's just the direction that guides him most of the
Yeah.
time. You know, like it's the I feel like you should use an alignment to describe your personality
Yeah.
more than your actions.
Yeah.
You know, like if you tend to be a good-hearted person but you're erratic, you're chaotic good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If you're a dickhead and you're out for yourself, I'm sorry, you might think you're neutral because you don't want to write that E on your character sheet, but you're an asshole. It's time to write the E on your character sheet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That doesn't make you a bad guy.
No.
Like that's the thing. People take alignments and they equate that to like evil means I'm an evil character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just your outlook. You can find sheriffs that are good guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're gonna be lawful evil.
Yeah.
You know, because you know what? They're tired of people stealing crap out of the town square. So now when you steal stuff, your hand's gone.
Yep.
They're tired of it. You know what I mean? Maybe they started out, giving a lecture every other week.
Yeah. Now
But
they're just murking people in the
yeah,
town square.
like
What did she
so
do?
there's a
She
lot
hung her
of ways.
wash out, and it was past noon. She knew it was the law. Like
That's right.
So I've been in a campaign where the alignment really didn't mean anything until a certain point. So what happened was there was one chaotic evil person on our team, and we followed him. I don't know why. All the good Samaritans in the group decided to follow him, but the DM decided to change the whole group's alignment to neutral evil, except for the one chaotic evil, and it ended up becoming an evil campaign. So like every town we went to, the town folks would attack us, the guards would attack us. It would end up being, and it would get so
see,
hard to
I don't
come
think a
That's
DM.
and I did
I
not.
agree. Yeah,
I ended up dropping out of that game because I did not like how that happened.
No.
here's the thing. I
Even
feel like he was right to change your alignment, but he
Yeah.
was wrong to have the town people attack you all the time. That's
Yeah.
that's just wrong.
Yeah.
Because like you don't unless part of becoming evil meant you spurted horns from your head and like shat lava as you walked,
Yeah.
so they would want to kill you immediately for some reason. But like no, like I like the alignment I get because like a character, if you're writing a G on your character sheet, but you're following an evil character and watching them do evil things and allowing it, I agree. And you probably are neutral evil because you might not be stopping it, but you're allowing it to happen. You're
Oh, yeah.
watching it.
Well, look.
You're
that part made sense, but the whole fact that like the whole alignment thing, some people take advantage of it. Some people just think it's
Well, look.
just
Look what happened to Becky on the live show. She was a cleric.
yeah.
She was supposed to be neutral good. All of a sudden, she can't use her powers anymore because she just went around murking people and she was doing dumb shit.
Mechanics there for a reason.
I'm going to strip those powers. So one of two things is going to happen. A, you're not a holier-than-thou cleric, or B, you ain't going to have your powers anymore. You know what I mean? If I'm a warlock and my patron is pure evil, I'm going to do shit that I'm not proud of to keep my power. That might be my character.
That's your cost.
Yeah.
That's the cost.
But that's the cost of my power. I might be a
and
great guy, but I'm going to do some
Right.
horrible shit because that's what I need to protect people.
But let's face it, for the most part, if you're a warlock, you're knowingly going into a bargain with a darker force for power. Like it's you've already taken a step down a path whether you realize or not by just choosing the warlock class.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's so it's the same thing. Like if you're a paladin, you're doing the same thing.
Yep.
You're leaning towards the other way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's
So,
like you were saying, it's a compass. That's nothing more than a compass. Because I might be that warlock that's like, every night I gotta, drink the blood of a squirrel or whatever to keep my pact. I might be the nicest guy in the world until I have to do some nasty shit. And that's with any character. You know what I mean?
Same thing, like paladin, you can be pious and holy and still be a prick.
Yeah. Most of them
Do you know what I mean? Like one of my favorite, if any of you are familiar with the Game of Thrones series.
Yeah.
The if you saw the television show, one of the guys brought the one character to life so well. His name was Theros of Myr, and he was like the fire paladin or fire priest for the thing. He's a paladin. He's a total dickhead drunk, but he's a great paladin. And like to me, I was always like, that's how you play a paladin without falling into a trope.
Yep.
Like that's like you can be a class without you don't have to be Sir Gallivant or whatever to be the fucking paladin.
Right.
Just the warlock. You don't have to be your name doesn't have to be Malcor with horns coming out of your hood, and you don't have to be that to be a warlock either. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's like I've had this discussion about druids a lot because they're all like, oh no, you must be one with nature. You must be this like either neutral or good person. It's like, no, you can be a druid and you can hate society. You can hate humans. You can wish to warp nature to feed your, you can make nature better. You want to make a squirrel that breathes fire?
Poison ivy.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
You know what I mean? Poison ivy. She's a druid. She warps nature to do what she needs to do to further her actions to further the forest.
And what would a nature spirit at all hate worse than an industrious civilization?
Right. And and here's the thing too. Like if you really think about nature, like you get those guys who you're just setting fire to the town, and well, yeah, it's wildfires. They burn down forests by themselves so that it can make room for new life. That's nature. Nature is unpredictable. Nature is crazy. That's just how shit is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So like the idea that a druid needs to be good, no. He might be good in his mind, but I think an evil druid would be badass.
That's what Torrent is becoming.
Yeah.
Like he worshipped a chaos, or he is worshiping and gaining power from an evil sea queen, and he is paying for it by being corrupted. But like that is what he's choosing to do. Like he is turning himself into sea overall, like water overall.
Oh shit, Josh. So you have we got off topic again. So we got for you we have your descriptions first, your class, your storyline. What is your fourth choice?
My abilities. Rolling the abilities. That way, and this is what you were talking about when you picked it as your third. I just like knowing the story a bit before, going into my class or going into my abilities. So I know, is deception going to be useful at all? Is being an intelligent person going to be useful when, you're with a bunch of brain dead animals all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I have description is first and foremost, my class, my ability scores. This is where I'm choosing my race. For the reasons that I was saying. Now I can level out my character and really kind of fine tune him with the race. Um, I'm gonna fine tune. The one thing that really bothers me that the book doesn't talk about, and it has the opportunity to like it talks about it a little bit, but I don't think that it uses it nearly as much as it should, is that background, right? That those background feats. If you really read the background feats, there's a lot of stuff in there that people just don't use. You know, there
Yep.
if you're a noble, you can walk into town, flash your insignia, and you're getting the mayor. You're getting the duke. You're getting, if you pick urchin, you're making money. You're doing things outside of just. But that brings you back to that role playing aspect, which a lot
Yeah.
of a lot of games, and I think that's one of the reasons that Critical Role is so good. It has more role play than it does hack and slash.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like there are times, and like I said, Critical Role is lucky in so much as they have that group that they've been playing together for so long. They're seasoned veterans. They know each other, and
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where if you are lucky enough to have a group that's as fun to fight the villain as they are to be with when they're sitting around having a dinner with the villain,
Yeah.
then you hit something. Like that to me, I've always enjoyed those sessions more. The conversational non-combat sessions where you're fleshing out details, and not just details, but details and plot where the characters feel invested and like they're making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. You know what I mean? And like as a player that's huge. Um
And, and I think that's where fifth edition really did something cool with the whole milestone thing. Because on other editions you had to kill shit unless your DM or your GM was saying, okay, I am gonna give you experience points for what you did today. Because you'd never level. If you're just role playing all the time, you're never gonna level.
right.
But if you role play your character, right? So Azamak, if I role play that character that he pushes to gain more knowledge in certain things, if I role play that character where he's going to go spend time at a monastery to learn how to be a monk, then I can gain a level in monk. There's my milestone. Once I did a certain set of things that I needed to do, then now I'm a monk now. Not like a full monk, but I
Right.
got the abilities that I needed to, because that's real life, right? It's not like,
Right.
okay, well I killed like 600 different things. I know how to punch shit now. It,
Well, that I mean, you know, in the Dungeons Master's guide, it says right in there that these are guidelines.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like if you want to play a character that's like that, who like I want you to play that character. I want you to play the character you want to play.
yep,
If we got to bend some rules or fudge some things, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, do you really think that Arneson or Gygax were really like, oh well, 2 points? Like fucking is like, I'm sorry, I don't buy that for a fucking hot second.
no, no. I it would have definitely been fun to experience that at its purest form. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
just to see what happened. You know what I mean?
sure, man.
Um, but yeah. So I mean, as for me, my race is my fourth most important thing. That's where I'm balancing my character. I'm figuring out, and honestly, like even with that class and ability, I've already picked my background to a certain extent. But that would be one of the last things that I do, only because if there's something that I'm missing, now I can kind of snag it up on
Right.
that with that background. You know what I mean? Like, shit. I have my intelligence. I have, you know, a relatively good dex, and I'm a warlock, or I'm a wizard. Shit. I need thieves tools.
Right.
I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna grab something that I can pull from that makes sense to my character. I can be Sherlock Holmes and be a street urchin.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Because that's where I'm gonna get. I might have to twist it a little bit, right? I blend in with the city's bad guys because that's where I'm getting my information. That's
Right.
where I'm doing my investigations. These guys know who I am. You know what I mean? Like, they know that I'm not coming from them unless, you know, and if they think that I'm coming for them, they're already caught. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of ways to twist this stuff. But yeah, for me, definitely fourth, uh, gonna be my race, because I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm green, have horns. Uh, I'll probably someday I might be a human, maybe someday.
When you're out of every other option.
Yeah, when I'm bored with everything else. Um, I want to play something weird though, like
A Minotaur thief.
yeah, right, a centaur thief, so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get that clap 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 clap. Shoot.
That's right.
Lexodon thief.
Yeah. Don't sneeze.
We
Don't
have to
sneeze.
scale the tower. Right.
That is the most agile elephant I've ever seen. He's using mostly his trunk. All right, so going back up to Chace. Chace, you picked your description, your class. Um, you retch into the world a little bit. You picked your race. Uh, what else do you have left here? You have,
Scores.
yeah, your ability scores is going to be the fifth.
Yep. And that's, I tend to, now that being said, it's possible that the reason that my choices are that way is because I've always played in a group where, I know everybody's different. Everybody's got different styles. Some people like to do the point buy system. I hate point buy. Hate it. So I like to, do the roll 46, drop the lowest. Big fan of that. And then usually in my crew, you get one mulligan.
Yep.
And hey, listen, with all that, if you roll crap, that's just the way that Destiny is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm still gonna make the character. This is, mind you, this is just my personal way. I'm still gonna make it based on the class I had. The highest score is gonna go where it goes. If if I'm a thief and my dex is 10, I'm a very average
Shitty
thief.
thief.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm shit. I'm Conan's buddy from Destroyer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trash. You know what I mean? But but that being said, then I get to play that. That means, because that right there, that informs my personality. I'm
Mhm.
gonna be goofy. I'm gonna be bumbly. I'm gonna be the guy who's like, when the group's trying to talk, I'm trying to pry the gem out of the snake's.
Yep.
I'm gonna be that guy because the dice told me to be. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's how I do it.
I think too, something that this doesn't talk about, but mostly because, like, you have point buy, right? You have the way that we roll. But I think the funnest one that I've ever had so far, and coming from a DM where it was kind of, everything was kind of picked for me, we rolled the dice in order, and that's where it stuck. So
I mean,
I
I
thought that
want
was
to
fun.
do that.
I thought that
I
was
want
fun.
to play a game like that.
I do too. That sounds
that's
awesome.
the only way I ever played Bard. Because I
Yep.
said that was the reason I played a Bard.
Yep.
Because we did that, and it was fun. I say I never would have gone out of my way to play that class. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I would have got to it eventually, but I never would have gone out of my way. So,
Yep.
and I've been enjoying it. That's the thing, is I'm truly enjoying playing it in that game.
The only thing that pissed me off about that was my rolls, right? Because when I rolled, it was like 15, 15, 14, 15, 7. Like, I'm just like, I could be any fucking thing. anything.
Yeah,
Like I really wanted it to pick what I was. Like I just wanted that 18 in strength. Yep, I'm a barbarian now. You know what I mean?
sure, of course.
Like I was hoping to play something where I didn't have to choose. And that would have been fun for me. That personally would have been fun for me.
I think it still kind of worked out for you though. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I
because
love my monk.
yeah, your monk's pretty great.
Yeah, I fucked every trope up as you know, like it's a wood elf, but he's fucking dark and twisted, and nobody
Yep.
likes him, and you know, it's yeah, I love that character. I can't wait to play that again. Um, so real quick, we're gonna take a quick break because I need to smoke a cigarette and I need to use the little girl's room, and it's 10 o'clock. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with Devon on his choices, on his choice for number 5, and then yeah, we'll kind of pick up where we left off. All right. So
Okay.
internets, we'll be back. we are back. For those of you that are just joining us, we're kind of going over how we create characters um, because we have a different view than the handbook does. Um, and for those of you that don't know, my name is Jesse. I am one of the DMs for Let's Roll's Adventure Guild and the DM for Let's Roll's live table, which we haven't been able to do since the corona. God, I can't wait for this to be over. Then over here is Chace. I'll let you
Other side.
introduce.
On the other side.
No, no, he's right over there.
For you, but for us.
Yeah, no, for everybody else.
Oh, really? Well,
But
on the Twitch thing, it's showing this way. Where the hell is? Oh. Go ahead.
I'm Chace. I'm the other DM. I run the Adventures Guild when Jesse is a player. Um, Obviously, I haven't been a player as often as I would like to be lately. But yeah, we're here to talk about our differences in making characters right now.
All right, and then down here is Devon. He's one of the players in the Adventurers Guild and one of the players at the live table. Um, say what's up, Devon.
And I cannot wait to get back to the table.
Yeah. And then in the far corner is Josh. He plays Torrent at the Adventurers Guild.
The most beloved and adorable of the druids.
Maybe adorable, but let's be honest, Azamac's beloved.
Yeah, by Azamak.
It's the only person that matters to me. So, um, getting back into it. So, just to recap, Chace. So far, out of the 6 steps that the player's handbook says, you've rearranged it quite a bit. Uh, Number 1, he comes up with his description of his character. That brings him to his class. Then he likes to know more about the storyline and kind of put it together with the group. And that makes him pick his race. And then he's worried about his ability scores. Uh, Devon, who we're going to go to next for his 5th pick, is he likes to know uh, more about the storyline. Then he chooses his class, then his race, then the character descriptions, and then we'll get his 5th pick in a minute. Josh, your our description of your character, then your class, then your storyline, then your ability scores, and then me. The description of the character is the most important. My class, my ability scores, then I choose my race. Um, so going to you, Devon. You've now picked your character description. You know what's going on with the story. You have your class, and your race. What is your 5th choice?
My 5th choice, I would have to agree with Chace and go with ability.
Okay.
Because at that point, like, depending on how it is, I would like when I like to role play my characters, even if it's just like real life. Like I like to try and make myself into it. I have so many things I like to do. If the ability scores do not match, then it's just perfect because that just means I have to work harder and hope that the luck is on my side when I have to make those rolls for those things.
Zane! Sorry.
Zane is the exact Zane is perfect. Like I certain things I'm good at. Yeah, that realistic. Some things I wish I was good at. And I'm still gonna do it. So still, yeah, it's still a fantasy game. Yeah, it's still trying to be something different, somebody different for a moment or time while you're playing. But at the same time, I still like to have the reality of a connection with my characters, even if some of the stats are not good, you're still gonna try and do it. So like it
Okay.
would be like I could be really bad at communicating with somebody, So I'll have to do some kind of insight check, or let's go charisma. So persuasion or something. If it's bad, it's bad. I have to have luck on my side and hope they believe me.
Like slugs and investigation with a -2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes, from a role playing aspect, and I know Chace feels the same way. Sometimes it's just more fun to take that -2 and go, yeah, I'm gonna try that.
For
I'm gonna do
sure.
that. I'm gonna do
For
that.
sure.
So I'm gonna fuck
I mean, I
something
think
up.
that
Oh,
sounds like a blast.
like
oh,
the abilities is important, but to me, they're not as important because that's when you get to have more fun with your character. Because then you are more reliable on your decisions first, and that's when you get to have other members of the group step in and actually help as well, instead of having one person taking charge all the time, which some games you're going to, but at least at that point, with your ability score not being completely balanced with your character, at least you can have other members in the group take that step up and try.
or be a Wayne and a Shadowbrook and just cut down doors.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, Josh. Number 5 for you, sir.
This is when I would pick my race to balance out the score. The scores are what I want his specialties to be. Because for people who might not know, each class or each race has some specialties. Most of the time, it's a +1 to charisma or a +1 to wisdom, and that way you can, even if your scores aren't the best, but you want like them to be able to do something, then your race can kind of balance it out, give it a little more leverage.
Yeah, and that's I with me that's I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm just a little ahead of you, I think, because the storyline. I'm not, which kind of brings me to my fifth pick is the storyline that's chosen, right? To me, now this is where I'm going. Okay, now where do I fit? Where do I fit in? I have everything else. I have my abilities. I know what I want to play. I know what I want to do. Now, how do I make that work in the world? Um, because realistically, and I think we're all in agreement. The very last thing that we're doing is picking equipment because starting
Yeah.
equipment, starting equipment doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I mean, it does to a certain extent, but the reality is you're going to start with what you start with.
and
Uh,
and by that point, most classes yeah, most classes already give you something that you're proficient in. So all you would have to do is just save up gold and change into a weapon you want.
yeah,
Right.
I mean, yeah. So this at this point, I have my character built, and I'm kind of going, okay, well, where do I fit? Where do I fit in the world?
Right.
And how am I going to make that work, right? But to me too, that being said, it's kind of like to me it's kind of like those roles, right? That are subpar roles. If I build my character based around the world, eh, there might be a lot of stuff that I know, there might be a lot of stuff that I don't know, but the reality is if I build my character and then put him in the world, it's easier for me to say this is what I do know, this is what I don't know. These are the things that I want to find out. You know what I mean? Because to me again going back to that role play aspect. Because if I'm an adventurer, right? And the idea to me of D&D is you're with any adventure, you're just a person in the world and shit happens. right? So if I already built my character, I'm literally playing that character. Okay, well, so now it's zombies. That just changes my. That doesn't really change anything for me other than shit. I gotta get, I'm fighting werewolves. I better pick up a silver weapon at some point, you know. But realistically, my character wouldn't slash into something and go, shit, I had a silver, I had a silver rapier because I knew that I was going to face vampires. He would go, shit, I just sliced him with my rapier and it didn't do shit. I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge. And that's kind of
Right.
how I play it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any fucking clue about vampires and, you know, depending on the character, I'm either living in the woods or I'm a part of some fighters guild where, like, most of the time all I'm doing is punching people in the face, and stopping riots and shit. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
fighting dragons.
Shit, this giant evil purple thing is coming at us and it screams and hurts you. Run away.
Yeah, fuck.
I think too though, and I don't know like how you feel about it, Jesse, too. Like as a DM, sometimes I feel like players like sometimes they consistently seem to either set the bar extremely low or just kind of like don't expect much out of themselves. Like
Yeah.
I've yet to have a player come to me and be like, yeah, like take the noble background, for instance, right? No, take the noble background for instance, and then and then sorry, and then have start someone talk to me, not threw my brain all off. Take the noble background and then be like, yeah, so I want to be part of like this royal house, or I want to be like the son of this baron or whatever. And then like I'd be like, I would love to do a camp. Great, now you're involved in some kind of like royal family campaign thing, or I'm a wizard, but I want to be a teacher at an academy. Well, now we get to do like an academic, plot kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that the players could infer just based upon who they want to play. But it seems like consistently, it's like, okay, I'm gonna make, X class, X race, and I stumble into a tavern. It's like, hey, all right.
Yeah.
It's if that's who you are, if that's what you want to be, like you can't row. Because if you're telling me, that's fine. Uh, if you're telling me that like you have a part of a royal family, I'm probably gonna say, yeah, you have more money than they're telling you start with.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna adapt as a DM my game to that. You know what I mean? And obviously, players that are in that group are gonna benefit from such a player as well.
Yeah.
There's no way you're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I think that's the thing too, right? So being put into a storyline, and coming from a DM, it doesn't matter what you think is going to happen. It really doesn't. You could have the best storyline written out. You could have shit that you want to go. All they got to do is turn right, and they're gonna bump right into my big bad. Don't go left. Fuck, they went left. All right, now I gotta change it up. I gotta switch it up.
so
And perfect example is Torrent right now, right? If we were running the campaign how we would normally run a campaign, halfway through where we start to see these changes as a DM, if you're a good DM, you start to see those changes, you pick up on those changes, and then after the game, I'm going to sit down with Josh and I'm going to be like, hey man, what's going on with your character?
right.
Cool. Then I am not going to tell him, but I'm going to put a story arc in so that they can go
Right.
do what they want to do, because your characters are your story. As a
Right.
DM, you're literally just you're just a sheep herder.
Right.
And not even a good one. You're just giving them, you're literally, you're the video game in a sense, right? But you got to change what you're doing to fit the players, because the more involved the players are in their characters, which you're going to get invested in a character, you're going to get
Right.
invested in your character. You should be invested in your character. And also, that being said, that's why and you guys know I'm known for killing characters. It's not because I like to kill characters. It's because
Oh, yeah.
I want that fear every time you get into a combat situation. But I always have an opportunity to get the fuck out. You always have the opportunity to run, because here's the reality. If you're faced with a situation that you know you're not going to win, run. Get out. Collect yourself. That's what I want them to do. And as a DM also, if I see that things are getting stagnant, or I see that, perfect example with the Adventurers Guild. How many sessions did we play where we were just fucking walking down hallways, not giving a shit, and then all of a sudden, every friggin' hallway is trapped. My job is to keep you on your toes. Keep you on your toes. And if I see that you're doing something, I'm going to exploit it. That's my job. So that I make you think.
Yeah. The day, who was it? Owain, Shadowbrook, Dewdrop, all of them walked down that hallway, ignited that gas. Owain had a torch in his hand, blew up everyone, and me and Paul just laughed.
Yeah. I mean, my job is to not only make sure that you're having fun, but to make you think. That's the kind of games that I like to play. I want to make you think. Not only tactics. When role playing, I want you to talk to certain people, but I'm not gonna put that person in your lap. You got to find that person. And if you don't find that person, I may give you the information elsewhere, but chances are I have a quick encounter that we can bump into. You know what I mean? So a DM's job sucks. Like, it's fun, but it sucks.
Hey, I hear you, man. Perfect example. The session where we didn't have any combat, and you guys are walking around talking to different vendors, trying to get your stuff together, and I kept talking about the supplies and the statues, and no one wanted to go look at the fucking statues, which blew my mind because everyone's like, "Where's Dewdrop?" And everyone's like, "I don't see her." But no one, I mean, and I must have said the word statues like 4 times.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, "Please," and like. And then I was like, just go, just because I was like, I have no other way to get her in there.
Well, like, the thing is, like, me as a player, I would have ran to it. But Torrent, especially when it came to finding Dewdrop, he couldn't care less. And that's just, that's not, I'm like, well, what would Torrent do? He doesn't really care. He got a pretty gem. He's happy.
Yeah,
walk away.
Same aspect, Azamak. Azamac's always, every game, it's all about the mission. Do the mission, knock it out, do what you gotta do. That being said, like, you cached all those supplies, right? So you cached all these supplies around the statue. I have 35 friggin' health potions.
I know. That's
like the last thing that I need to do is grab more, and so I didn't even think about it until like we kind of bumped into them, and I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, and you're like, Paul, there's arrows. He has like over 100 arrows.
Yeah, he's like, cool. Like, just walk. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, as a DM, he did everything that he could. He did everything that he could to go. Everything short of go look at the fucking statues. Like, everything short of that.
Which he did.
Yeah.
It actually got to the point where I was just gonna be like, okay, she's just not there. I was like, I have no idea what else to do. I was like, she's just not going. Because like, either that or I'm gonna have someone drag a statue to the center of a magical like no one else cared. So here's this random like keeper initiate dragging a statue across the ground. Oh, here's your friend.
and it wouldn't have been a problem except Torrent took the necklace off her. That was the only thing that caused the issue.
Because then we even had the whole event where everyone's was volunteering to go. I couldn't volunteer if she's stoned.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally nothing I could do. And I
So
can't remember how it ended. But I think someone asked for like a potion. I was like, yeah, check the fucking supply.
Yeah,
or
I
something.
think it was me. I think Zane was the one that was like, "Hey, do we have any potions?"
No, actually, I think what it was like we were in the circle. We were with the guy getting ready to do it,
yeah,
and you're like, "Are you sure? Are you sure anyone doesn't need a potion?"
yeah,
As a Mac, maybe you should go look.
yeah, and I was like, well, yeah, I might as well grab a few. Fuck. Oh, there they are.
I
So,
was
Even
like,
afterwards, like,
so real quick to get us back on track, real quick, and then we'll go off on a tangent. Um, I think we're all in agreement that the very last thing that we need to think about is getting that equipment.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Like that's, I mean, to me that equipment. If I already have my storyline, I know how my character is. I know what he's going to be doing. I already have the shit picked that I want to do. You know what I mean? Like I already know what I'm going to use. You know, it's not, and you only get like what, like 4 choices in total. Like you either get like a short sword or a bow, or depending on the
yeah,
class that you're in, you only get a total of 4 choices. And out of those 4 choices, one of them is, do you have a Dungeoneer's kit or a Explorer's pack, which it's pretty much the same damn thing.
well, one thing that is kind of cool that D&D Beyond does for this part is it will ask you equipment or gold. So it will either give you the equipment choices or it will just give you the gold, so you have to go find everything,
Yeah, and
which I think is a cool idea.
I think that that it's also um, in the handbook. So on page 14, it says instead of taking so it says instead of taking the gear given to you by the class and background, you can purchase starting equipment. You have a number of gold pieces to spend based on your class, as shown in chapter 5. So you can, if you really want to go crazy, you can choose to say, I'm going to buy the stuff that I'm going to need right off the bat. So, I mean, in that aspect, cool. 90% of the time I don't. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I already have the stuff that I need. Um, but I mean, that all depends. That all depends on what I'm playing and what we're getting into. So that would be the last thing that I pick. You know what I mean? So here's one of those things where, like, Chace is running a campaign, or you guys are running Curse of Strahd. Well, the first question I have for the DM is, do I know what a vampire is? Do I know that silver is gonna fuck up a werewolf? Okay, then maybe instead of getting the starting gear, I just spend the money and get a gold sword, because I know that I'm gonna, I live near Barovia, so it would make
right.
sense for my character to have a silvered weapon. You know what I mean? But that's the last thing that I'm doing. Um, you know, so it
And,
depends. Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, and that kind of stuff. I don't know if you've seen, if you've read guides on how to build characters and blah blah blah. A lot of them the history checks and things like that. History arcana. It says, yeah, it's good to have, but it's not really important. Well, it can be if that's how your DM plays it. Like there's this one you'll see. It's like the RPG handbook or something, and it's like it's how all the good things, like the whole min max. These are the best classes. This is the best. For each class, and a lot of them do say, history check. Yeah, it's a good skill for your class, but it's not useful.
Yeah, I see a lot
Like,
of those. I see a lot of those websites, right, where like blue means this, green means this,
Oh yeah.
per class.
yeah,
Listen, if you're a min max, cool, go with that. But if you want to role play, like I said, that Sherlock Holmes character, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what my min and max are. I know that as a Sherlock Holmes character, I'm not going to be strong. I may be charismatic, but I know that I'm smart and I know that I can pick things up. And that's where it's going to
Min
be that session 0, right? That's where it's going to be important. Because if Chace tells me that it's going to be like it's a very magical area that we're in, I might take Arcana because I should be skilled in Arcana if that's the area that I'm in. Which I
right.
guess, I guess. See, even with what we have here, like even with this list, to be honest, um, it's gonna change. It's gonna change based off the game that I play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this list, it's a good kind of starting guide, but I think
I think too, just to kind of like just to piggyback on what you had said a minute ago, is like min maxing. I understand that that's fun for some people, and that is if that's what you like to do, that's fine. But I think sometimes you need some self awareness with that because that could be exhausting for a group to play with, and
yeah,
it could be extremely exhausting for a DM to DM because they're usually the ones that want 47 checks to look at a door.
yeah,
They're the ones who want, like, well, can I do this? Well, if I do this and do this, can I do? I'll do this. And they're also the ones, and it's the most frustrating part. They're the ones who have like plus 46 to hit, and when they miss, they get pissy.
yeah,
And it's like, guys, like you just murdered 47 people in a row. And that can be a frustrating thing to deal with. So I think just as role players is just kind of be aware like that, like because if you min max, that's totally cool. I don't, that's fine, but just kind of be self aware when
yeah.
you're min
I
maxing.
mean, there's etiquette, right? And
Yeah.
you'll notice that most of your min max guys, and I'm just saying most of your min max guys play a lot of video games
Oh, that's a huge
yeah,
correlation.
because
Huge.
they want to win the game. They want to
Right.
win the game and they play games that they can win, right? Because they want to win the game. Dude, if you want to win a game, play Call of Duty. This
Right.
is Dungeons and Dragons. You are playing a game. You are playing a game. You're not going to win. You're just not going to win. There's not a point where you're going to win. It's like playing Skyrim. Can I beat all the missions? Yeah, but can I ever win? Not really.
Oh, if you go back outside, there's still something to fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
you
I'm not,
play
So
5
I
hours a
might
game
be,
you play, you don't win.
but realistically, like you go OP, right? So let's say I'm hitting for like plus 47. At some point, this shit's gonna get boring. You know what I mean? If I'm just
right.
killing everything that I can kill with like one hit, can we kill this character now? Because I pretty much did. Now so Brandon's a really good example because he was a brand new character, or he was a brand new player when we met. Like he had no idea what was going on, but he started like that's what he does for fun. He creates characters in his head. He creates characters. And then it's not like a min max thing. He goes, I can use this ability, this ability, this ability, and this ability, and this is what will happen. So like, he was talking about going rogue and bard so that you get like double proficiency in pretty much everything. And then like if you take expertise and if and that's cool. He's not min maxing. He just thinks it would be really cool to play a character where, chances are he'll never play it. because he doesn't. He's kind of like us. He likes that. He likes that stat that's a little less than what it should be. And the same way, like if I'm playing a barbarian, chances are, unless my character is calling for an intelligent barbarian, which could be totally fun to play, I'm dumping those stats. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Hug mug.
Fuck Hugmug. I'm gonna kill that
Well,
character so fast.
that's like there's one character that I created. Its name is Tack, and the whole point of Tack is, yes, it's a sorcerer that is gonna go into Warlock and be this like whole psychic thing, but their main gimmick is that they're a changeling and they want to and they want to be a leather merchant. So they want to be this like very well known leather merchant, but because he's a changeling, no one knows who this mysterious merchant is. It's just like a logo on this like pristine like artisan armor, but no one knows who it is. And that's the gimmick that I'm more interested in that than.
Yeah, then going out and murking stuff. Yeah.
My next character that I'm making is pretty much a Ninja Turtle.
Let's see here.
That's good stuff.
So it is rapidly approaching 11 o'clock. And I think 11 o'clock's a good stopping point, unless anybody thinks otherwise.
No, that's fine.
Okay. So this is a new setup for us. So my question then is, what do we want to talk about? What do we want to talk about next week?
Right on.
I think we go through the handbook.
Oh, actually,
Okay.
I have my schedule,
Ooh, okay.
and it actually is going to affect this.
Okay. All right, we'll talk.
So
right after this,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
discuss.
So
Yep, we'll get it. One way or another, we're gonna figure this out.
a little shake and rattle. I think it's actually going to end up being better in the long run.
Sweet.
For content wise, but
So I think what we're gonna do for the next one, we're gonna go through the book. We're gonna go through the book based off of the chapters. So chapter 1 was a step by step. You and your damn tab. You're worse than I am. People talk shit. People
No.
I love the tabs.
If I may, Nick Campoy, he is the one who did this for me.
Oh yeah,
You know
I can see that. Yeah.
Like, his stuff's pristine. I gotta get him to go through the rest of my book. See if I can get him to do that. But yeah.
But chapter 2 is going to be races. So
Right.
Here's what we're going to do. Next episode, we're going to pick all the races. And I'm thinking there's like 23, right? Total races. If you look at like changelings, the whole.
Okay. Everything that's
published
core right now.
Yep.
Perfect.
Edition book.
Yep. Everything that's published in 5e. We're gonna rank our favorite races and reasons why.
Absolutely.
So,
so what, like top 5 or?
Let's do top 5. Let's do top 5 races. And then the ones that we don't talk about, we'll talk about the following time, just to go through the races. Because the races is a big discussion point. So that's probably like 2 or 3 shows right there. So maybe we'll do. Maybe we'll do favorite races. And then
least favorite.
And then we'll do least favorite.
Yeah.
So we'll have that ready. But
a lot of gnome coming in hot.
Halflings.
for those of you that are watching, and I hope you guys learned something. More so, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Um, and we're gonna continue to put out.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah. Since we have a few minutes, just because there is people in chat, does anyone have any questions that they want answered? About character creation, at least the basics.
Yeah. Sorry. If you guys have any questions, anything that you wanna, I mean, if we go a little over 11, I'm not concerned about that. But yeah, we'll open for the Q&A at this point. So if you guys have any questions, before you ask, yes, I am this good looking. It's not a camera trick. It's it's natural. So there's
I
that.
can vouch for it.
I'm normally not this red, but I have a Santa Claus thing going on right now.
And yes, his eyes are probably brown because he is full of shit.
That's good stuff.
All right, well, no questions. So, yeah, guys, if you want to hear us talk a little bit more shit and talk about D&D, make sure to hit us up. I'm gonna put the schedule. I'm gonna put the brand new schedule into the Twitch. So go down and check out the schedule. Let's say tomorrow, because I need to do a lot of work. Somebody pointed that out yesterday. They were a little butthurt about that.
Chace.
Just a little bit.
But we're gonna revamp. We're gonna revamp the schedule. Um, I think the next thing we have is Monday, because we take Sundays off. So Monday I will be. I believe I'll be running the game. Because we'll have the discussion with the group after that. So I will be DMing on the channel at about 8:30. After that, Tuesday, I will be doing a little bit more crafting. Hold on. Ugh. So we're gonna finish up. We're gonna finish her up a little bit. We just got to put the metallics in and do a little bit more highlights, fun stuff. So check that out. Um, yeah, so we have a whole new setup that we're gonna be running, which we're gonna finish this up and talk about that. So yeah, if there's no questions. Um, Chace, Devon, Josh, thanks for hanging out. Um, this was fun. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to. I am going to get a hold of Izzy and Brandon to see if they want to pop in too.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think Izzy would be a very good source, because that kid knows more about D&D than I'll ever know. He's forgotten more than I'll ever know. Um, so and if there's anything that you guys want to see, feel free to shoot us an email. You can contact me directly at letsrolldnd@gmail.com. And I'm gonna be working on a Twitter. We have a Facebook, but
Which I've been slacking on. Sorry, guys.
yeah, we're gonna organize everything a little bit better, make it a little bit more. I have a lot more help now, so we're gonna get everything a little bit more streamlined. And
Do you have an Instagram?
I do not, which I need to do an Instagram and a Twitter so that I can put up the artwork.
Yes.
I want to do that.
Don't worry, us youngins will teach you the ways of this social media that scares you so much.
Yeah,
I basically live on Instagram, so
I still suck at the Twitch. I'm the idea guy. I just come up with really good ideas and then hope somebody knows what I'm talking about. That's all I got. And a pretty face. That's it. That's all I got. And a beautiful voice. Beautiful voice.
All right, with that, we're ending.
Yeah, we're out. So
I have one thing. Before we leave, before we end, it's just about the character creation.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody thinks, if you run with a character, run with it. It's your creation. It's your idea. it is never wrong. You can play your character however you want. It is all on you. It depends on how well you stick with it. If you are hesitant with anything, that's when the DM or other players will bash you too much, where you're not going to like the character, even if you did at the start.
Uh, to add to what he just said, if I don't like a character, I'll just kill it. Just kill
And
it.
I'll just make another one.
Just kill it.
and that's why we have Bard of Inspiration.
Stop it.
Bard,
I'm out.
Bard,
Bye.
Bard of Inspiration.
So, for any of you that are left in the channel, I have one of my artist friends that we're going to raid real quick. So, hang out. She's doing some kind of, it looks like some kind of purple worm thing. So, it should be pretty cool. So, just hang out. I'm going to switch to the break. And actually, I'm going to switch to the outro. And then we're going to raid. So, hang out. Say what's up. Make sure that you're making a whole lot of noise when you get in there. To make sure that they know that we're coming. Got it? All right. Bye, internets. Peace out.